In today's video, I'd like to talk about gun regulations and how it compares to the ones in the US. Why America? Because of gun culture, I guess, because of how people are familiar with how much it costs over there and stuff like that. And get yourself to be mind blown by how much this gun costs in my country. A lot of countries actually outside of the US, right, allows legal gun ownership. For example, our country, this gun is chambered in 32 ACP for a very specific reason, because that's what we are allowed to carry. Most of this gun is chambered in 380 or 22 long rifle, etc., etc. We aren't allowed to carry a 380. The maximum is allowed would be 32 ACP and below. So anything below that, 25 or 22 is fine. 22 Magnum, anything like that will be fine. 223 Remington, however, I don't know. I can't say. Like I said, this video is not a legal advice. It's just me doing a comparison for fun, all right, for entertainment purposes. I'll clear this gun real quick. There's nothing in the chamber. I'll put this aside. So this gun right here is manufactured by Interarms. Is one of the best made Walther PPKs, if I'm not mistaken. Umarex, a company from Europe, actually made this as well. They are well known to make the blank gun version. And CO2, they do actually make the firearm version of this gun, and Smith & Wesson, if I'm not mistaken. I think the best quality ones is Interarms. I mean, maybe wrong, but at least from what I'm seeing right now, this gun is extremely well made. Very, very clean, very sweet, all right? It looks extraordinary. All right, so as you guys can see, this gun has a permit. This is the permit. It's pretty much equivalent to, I'm not going to show the information behind. This gun is basically, the permit is equivalent to American CCW permit, concealed carry weapons permit. So you are not allowed to open carry this gun. You have to conceal it. Anytime you actually pull it out, you have severe consequences. If you do it, you have to have a very legitimate reason for why you pull that gun or even fire it, let alone kill anybody. Now, your life have to be in severe danger for you to be justified to pull this gun out and use it. I will not talk into details of the legality of every single scenario, but that's how it is. All right. So you cannot simply just pull it out, to scare somebody, or you have a road rage or whatever, just brandish your firearm. That would be illegal. So basically, gun ownership for civilians is separated into two categories. One of them is this, defense. Now, in defense, it's separated into three subcategories. The first one is real firearm, meaning it shoots real ammunitions, anything below 32 ACP. The second one would be rubber. The third one would be blank guns or tear gas. Now, these two, most countries consider them non-firearm or not even a toy, all right? So they're not firearms. In Indonesia, it's considered a firearm. This is, the blank guns versions are pretty much non-existent. This one, however, is still popular. They're basically the same as blank guns, except the barrel has been is allowed to shoot a projectile. In this case, it's rubber rounds. It's non-rifled, it's smooth bore, but the material of the gun itself, in many cases, depending on the brand, are very inferior metals, pot metal and stuff like that. We do encounter legitimate firearm that has been converted to shoot blanks or shoot rubber rounds, but legally it's still considered a rubber gun, so to speak, okay, non-lethal. Get ready for your mind to be blown. This one costs, which is this real gun that shoots real fire ammunitions, are around US 28,000 US dollars, 25 and above. This one is about 10,000 or, well, yeah, 10,000. This is about a few grand, about probably 3,000, maybe something like that. This one is almost pretty much non-existent. I rarely see any of this anymore. Why so expensive? That's how the government control gun ownership. I will not talk into details of how effective it is. Obviously, you have your own opinion, and I have no choice. Doesn't matter how much I argue about it. That's how it is. This kind of guns, all these three versions, comes with a card where you carry around with you, which is pretty much like your registration registration. You have to carry it with you all the time. And another one is a book, pretty much the same as automotive ownership in my country. So you get two documents, so to speak. One you keep at home, and the other one you carry with you with the firearm or your vehicle, right? All right, so that's that. And the next one would be for sports. All right, so first one is defense, and the second one is sports. Now, for sports, it's also separated into three subcategories. First one is for hunting. The second one will be for IPSC style of competition sports, and the third one would be for target. Regulations basically for you to buy a gun. The first step would be to join a gun club. The second step would be to join the entity or association or organization that basically well, not govern, but control and take care of all the requirements for you to own a firearm. It's equivalent to the NRA. In Indonesia, it's called Perbakin. All right. Now, when you join, first step will be the gun club, and the second step will be to join that gun organization. Now, joining it you have to choose which one you want to go, which route. So you want to go hunting, you have to do a qualification, etc., etc. For example, if you want to join the IPSC style of competition or guns, you have to do the El Presidente, which is, what you can Google online, but you have to qualify for it. Most people pass. I think all people pass, right? It's a formality, mostly. And then after that, after you pass it, and then you get another card. So the gun club, you have a card. That organization, you have another card, which identify which of these three that you passed. And then after that, you can buy your guns. And then buying a gun is a very long process. You have to do psychological tests, etc., etc. Fill in a lot of paperwork, and then after you pass, then you have to pay for it in upfront, and then after all the documents have been approved, which can take quite a few months, and finally the gun is being delivered to your gun club, and the gun is not supposed to be brought home. It's supposed to be stored in the gun club in a safe, and you shoot it there. Does that mean that you aren't allowed to bring it home? Yes and no. You can bring it home. There's another permit that you simply ask for, which is not as difficult to get. You simply apply for it, and then you pay a small amount of money, and then you can bring it home for, obviously, if you want to go to competition, a different city, etc., etc., or you want to clean your gun, you want to do a modification of your gun, you are allowed to do that for a shorter period amount of time. You are allowed to bring it back. All right. Now the cost, all right. All three of them range anywhere from $8,000, probably, $8,000, probably $5,000 to $8,000, and up. So whatever the gun costs over in the U.S. For obviously, if you buy a Cabot that costs $10,000 in the U.S. to begin with, is gonna obviously be much more expensive over here. All right. So that's that, all right? So there's also other exception, I guess, other than the two that I mentioned, military and other methods. For example, like I mentioned before, most civilians are only allowed to carry 32 and below. There are many cases where civilians are legally allowed to carry a 9mm, for example. It's basically the same as it is in the U.S. If you know the right people, you're able to bend the rules, so to speak. But generally speaking, that's the regulations. This gun, this video is not to be for Indonesian. It's basically just a rough and a general description of how it is in Indonesia in comparison to the gun regulation outside of Indonesia. So I hope you guys find this video interesting and hope you like it. And please hit the like and subscribe button. And God bless. Bye bye.